All right, welcome to week 26 of the Designorama, the daily design challenges. This week we'll be working on advanced interaction design, you can call it. It will be working on interactive elements of UI. So, if you're deep in the UI space and you want to stretch some muscles, flex some muscles, build some muscles that maybe have been at rest for a little while, or maybe there's something that you've wanted to try that hasn't come up in your work and you want to dedicate some time to it, this is your excuse. If you need to refine something in your portfolio, this may be a good opportunity to do so, but these will be interactive components of interfaces. I mean, you can see day one here as a drag and drop interaction. And I think the fun thing about this is that next week, week 27, we'll be working on prototyping mastery. And really that will be another layer of, how can I put this? It's just an additional layer of advanced interaction, but you'll be focused on prototyping it well. So this could be fun. That this week we'll be focused on building advanced interactions. Next week we'll be focused on actually implementing those in a way where it is interactive and your prototype as best as you can, and maybe try some things out. And there'll be some that fall outside of basic digital screen UI, so it should be fun. As usual, think about an organization, or if it's a large organization, a subset of an organization, a specific tool or specific team that you'd like to work for, where demonstrating something similar to what they do, solving a similar problem or solving one of their problems, would be beneficial to have in your portfolio. And think about how you can work on this project across all 5 days to grow a cohesive thing, a unified thing. You are more than welcome to do these one day at a time if you just want to flex those muscles. But if you're out there looking for a job and you want to grow these skills, it may be a good thing to do, to think about these as not only day 1 through day 5, but a full week of building one cohesive thing. So one thing I needed to add here is this course. And it's one thing that stands out in sort of the vast library of things that IXDF has. You can go in and look for specific aspects of UI and so on and so forth. But UI design patterns for successful software, it goes into a fair amount of depth into contemporary challenges that exist in popular types of platform, and speaks to UI design patterns that support it. And this will be on many levels of abstraction. This may be a bit of a deep dive for this week's exercise, but if you find yourself enjoying what you're doing this week and you want to grow the skill set, great course to jump into. It is a beginner level course. And if you find that maybe you have some gaps in your skill set and you want to take a course that'll help fill in those gaps, a really great course. I am not going to point this out every day, but I'll include the link in the day so that you can find it easily. Okay, week 26. Oh, I forgot to mention, we're halfway through. This is 26 weeks, 52 weeks in a year. We've made it halfway through the Designorama, the daily design challenges, and that means that with a few weeks off, we have like 100 and 125 different challenges out there that you can work through and segmented into 26-week long challenges. So yeah, if these have been helpful for you, it'd be good to hear about it. Please comment on YouTube or post on LinkedIn and tag me so I can see it. But let's move forward. Day 1, drag and drop interaction. And this is relatively straightforward. Again, if we get into the prototyping phase of this could be challenging, and it may require a little bit of coding or a special tool that does this. I don't know, Proto.io might handle something like this well. jQuery, I think, is something that you can use, similar libraries that would be maybe a little bit easier to implement this. But design and prototype a drag and drop interaction for a specific use case. And this could be file manager, task organizer, playlist recording. And the output is just going to be a clickable prototype of the drag and drop action. And, again, this is your opportunity to target something that may be in a particular, suitable for a particular team in a typical organization. There may be some opportunity to work on subtlety here and how the thing reacts when you pick it up, when you hover over it, while you're dragging it, how it communicates where you could potentially drop it, how it communicates how things will shift around it as you move it around the screen. There are so many nuanced aspects of doing a drag and drop that this could take a little bit longer than an hour, hour and a half, but definitely worth pursuing, because it really does, if you haven't done this before, open your eyes into sort of not only the subtlety of what it means to design something like this, but also potentially how you have to communicate with your developers, and maybe even make concessions where they may say, well, let's just use something that exists in a popular library that's pre-canned. Day 2, create an informative hover state. So make a hover state that reveals more detail without overwhelming the user. It could be a product preview, file details, profile card expansion, and think about how it makes things shift around it. Like, really contemplate what it means for that thing to change visually, and how size and animation impact everything around it. One interesting one that came up in one of the earlier design challenges was how, I want to say it's Etsy, there's a button in their list view. So you're looking at a bunch of products on the screen, and the button doesn't show up until you hover over it. And the button is the thing, I believe, that opens the product in the state, in a record view, so in the individual product view. It was just an interesting interaction, and I have challenges with it, but also think it's beneficial and it's used a little commonly. So it's just a fun one to check out. But they're all over the place. So these ideas of informative hover states, or hover states that have progressive disclosure of information. Check them out. Create one of your own and mock it up or prototype it. You can just show both states, or you can go so far as to make it so that someone can actually hover over it and it expands the information. And there's some things to consider with how expanding information fills a space, and how text takes up space over different variations of the same card. But some things you can think through. Make an interactive timeline for day 3. So design a timeline component for an app or site that allows users to navigate through events, history, or milestones interactively. So a timeline component can be a progress bar. A timeline component can be a for instance, the history example, it can just be points in time in the past that allow you to explore something and learn about it. But again, it could be something that guides you through a step-by-step thing that you need to accomplish, but has interactivity to it. And the same thing here, just prototype a scrollable or clickable timeline. It could be both. It could be a long timeline that goes off the screen and also has clickable elements that change things on the screen or change content. Day 4, multi-step process. So prototype a complex multi-step process. It could be an onboarding flow. Checkout is generally one. Configuration wizard. And include a clear progress indication. And oftentimes with the basic heuristic of allowing people to recognize rather than recall, it's good to help people see where they've been and where they're going, potentially in a multi-step process. And I think the fun thing about what we have here is onboarding flow. So that's just acclimating to something. A checkout is adding all the details you would need to take something away from a central area, like a store. And then the configuration wizard could be anything. It's just how do you take multiple components or aspects of a component and construct something via those aspects, and what does it look like in the end? So I think those 3 things really cover just about anything that you could potentially want to do. And again, the output is a functional prototype showing smooth step transitions, so it just allows people to navigate forward and backward through the process and accomplish what they need to. And the last one here is parallax scrolling effect. So sketch a prototype, a parallax scrolling landing page, or it could be an app transition. It could be just about anything, where visual layers move at different speeds to create depth. And these can be all background elements, or they can be foreground background elements. I mean, the thing about parallaxing is that you have for middle and back in any layers that you would want in there, depending on the computational ability of the device you're using. But just think about what it might mean to implement one of those, and what it might mean to use that to communicate something meaningful. So the output here is just a scroll-based animation, mock-up, or demo. It could be a video if it is complex. But it is something from an interactive perspective that you'd want to frame as something that would be the result of someone doing something, rather than building a movie that has a parallax effect in it. So all of these are relatively straightforward. I think the challenge comes in doing something, isn't actually picking the thing and narrowing it down, sort of exploring your creativity and making it into something. But again, the one thing you may want to focus on is who you potentially would want to work for, what company you'd want to work for, what type of work you'd like to do, and try to do something that aligns with that well. Good luck this week. Again, next week we'll go into the same sort of vein of things. And thanks to everyone for going along with this. We're halfway through week 26 of a full year of daily design challenges. I hope they've been helpful, and I look forward to seeing everyone's output this week.